Good morning, everyone. I'm Laurie with the Mystical Moon, and it's so great to see all of you here for the Empower Hour. I see we have a few people here in the online community, as well as there are a few who have joined us on the YouTube page. And it's always so good to see everybody here and to see everybody has tuned in there. Good morning. This week's segment is going to cover space clearing, which is something that is so important, and I'll go over some of my tips and the things that I do to help keep your space sacred, and some of the things to kind of like look out for when you know it's time to clear that space. And everybody's space needs clearing from time to time, whether it's your home, workspace, your car, your office, any of those spaces where we interact with anybody, with ourselves, with the public, with family members, with friends, and I'll go over that in just a little bit. All right, so I did want to share a few thoughts for this upcoming week and what's been going on with everyone, and feel free to comment here in the online community. On the YouTube page here, that channel, I might not have disabled the chat, so I'm not quite able to chat with you there. I don't even know, let me see here. Well, it's on. Let's see if anybody has a question there. So if you would like to say hello, let's see if I can manage this. I do have someone who offered to help me out, so we're going to work on that within the next couple of weeks, and I probably will be streaming then from Fort Myers, because I believe she lives in Fort Myers. So we'll see what we can do there. So I have typed in hello in the chat on the YouTube page, so we might be able to answer some psychic questions as well, because I see a few of you have joined already there. All right, so what's up and coming? So I would like to thank everyone for their kind thoughts and words and prayers with the passing of my father-in-law. He was such an amazing man, and a great father, husband, friend, father, husband, grandfather, friend to all of us who knew him. And it's just, you know, it's just so nice to see how people come together to support others in the times of change, and unfortunately the death it's part of life, and it can be really challenging, but it also gives us the opportunity to reflect upon the memories and to really make each and every moment count for all of us. So I do appreciate that. Claudia Johnson, she is an intuitive palm reader, psychic, astrologer, who is usually here for our psychic fairs. And Claudia has been reading, I believe, for over 30 years. And she had been living in St. Pete for a while. Well, before she moved to St. Pete, she was here in the Fort Myers area. And at one time, she was a partner with Mary Alice with the Planet Earth bookstore. So Claudia has moved now here to this area, and we will be able to host her more frequently. So for this week, Claudia is going to be available for in-person and phone consultations at the Bonita store today from 12 to 5, and tomorrow 1 to 5. And tomorrow, I believe she already has a few appointments. So you can always look at our website, mysticalmoonpsychics.com, or call the front desk to schedule your session with Claudia. All right, and so she's really awesome. As I mentioned, she does palm reading, which is really interesting. Palm reading tells you a lot about your gifts, some challenges, some things you've overcome. I mean, you can even see in there past surgeries, heartache, disappointment, potential within you, within your palm. And your palms change over time too. This is something that a lot of people may not be aware of, that the lines in your hand, your fingers, your palms, the sides here, they change based upon your life, your path, your decisions, so on and so forth. So your destiny is changed a little bit or quite a bit with your palms, and it shows up here as well. She also is available for astrological charts as well as tarot readings. So if you're interested, just give us a call. And then in the future, we'll have more of a regular schedule for her. Right now, she's able to fill in where we're full. A lot of the times, Belinda fills up here in Bonita, and we're turning away a lot of people who walk in for appointments. So Claudia's here. Give us a call if you're interested. Also, this Friday, Joanna Salerno will now be offering her monthly gathering, Tapping into Akasha. And if you do not know what the Akashic records are, or Akasha, it's spirit. And Edgar Cayce spoke of the Akashic records, which is a plane of consciousness that exists where you can tap into and open the books, the records of all of your lives and your soul's potential. And you can open it up and retrieve information and bring it through the realms to those here. So in this monthly gathering in Fort Myers, she hosted on the third Friday of the month. And then Bonita, it will be the fourth Friday of the month. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think it is the fourth. It is the fourth Friday. Anyway, so it's this Friday here in Bonita at 7 p.m. It's $25. And if you're interested, you can RSVP through the email, or you can call the front desk. And in that gathering, you all sit in a circle, and she guides you through a meditation. She goes to the records, meets with the masters of Akasha, and opens up the books. And then you get to write down a question on a piece of paper, and she will answer your question. She pulls the papers out, reads the questions. And what's so cool is that there's always a theme with this, always a theme with classes, gatherings, and it shows us that spirit is in control, that there's divine coordination with all of this. And so when someone has a question that's being answered, a lot of the times we're able to relate to the information that's coming through, which is similar with the questions that you ask here through the Empower Hour or in a psychic development class as well. So that's also coming up. Then Saturday here in the Bonita store, we have a psychic fair from 10 to 5. Really awesome readers and healers, so you can call the front desk there as well. And I don't want to forget Fort Myers. We have Mary Alice there today, tomorrow, and Friday, Ashley Devine will be in Fort Myers for sessions, and Ashley will be heading out west, and her last day here will be July 14th. So you might want to, if you set up a face-to-face session if you're interested in person. Last thing is Sunday, Joanna's hosting her Sacred Soul Sunday, and that's from 11 to 12. It's meditation. It's resetting your energy. It's only $10. What a wonderful deal or bargain to be able to be in community and in circle with others. And then Tarot 1 will be July 1st. I already have 16 people signed up for that. My limit is 20. So if you're interested, give a call here at Bonita. And then Friday, July 14th in Fort Myers, I will be teaching about meditation. And for those who have taken the Anastasia system classes with me, I'm going to be starting a study group once a month. And for July, it'll be July 10th here in the Bonita store at 6:30. It's from 6:30 to 7:30, and I ask for a $5 donation. I will also stream it live for those who have taken the Anastasia system in the group here in the online community. And speaking of the online community, I don't know if many of you are aware, but if you look at the tab section here under the banner for the online community, there's a section, there's a page that's titled Groups. And I have had more than one person in particular last night, who had mentioned that, hey, does anybody write in those groups? Does anyone say anything there? Because we have these awesome groups. We have tarot, we have dream interpretation card spreads, and a lot of times people will post in there if they have questions or what's going on, or they want to share, and they'll write their comments in the groups. Please, please, please feel free to check them out and or join a group. All right, so let's see if we can get some activity going on there because it's a lot of fun, okay? A lot of fun. This is what community is about. So please, I invite you to go into one of the groups and kind of start up a conversation or share your insights with someone else who has written in there as well, posted some things too. I did want to say hello those on the YouTube page. I did open up the chat here. So when it comes to psychic questions, if you want to type in your question there, feel free to do so. And today I will be ending today's segment about 10 till, because I will be working the front desk here in Bonita today. Alrighty, so let's get into the topic of Space Clearing 101. And I see more people have typed in, good morning, good morning. You don't want me to sing, I'm sure, but good morning, everyone. Oh, I have one more member. Hold on here. Let me welcome Mia. So we have a new person who just joined the online community, and her name is Mia. She'll probably be popping up soon. Again, feel free to connect in the groups. Feel free to start your own group or subject matter or whatever it is and interact with each other. You don't need me here to do that. You can all do this on your own, and that's why this resource is here. This is a free resource, the online community, where you're able to connect with like-minded people. Yes, there's a paid area for $10 a month, the sanctuary, and I do have a couple of classes that you can purchase for $7.77. However, there's almost 1,000 people here in the online community, so why not connect with each other? I think it's a great idea. All righty, so again, moving forward, apologize. I digress. We're going to go forward and talk about space clearing. So when is it best to space clear? When do you know it's time to space clear? Now, for some people, they have a regular routine, and they may do it on Friday nights at 8 p.m. For some people, they wait a little bit till things feel a little different. Or maybe they had a really rough day and they're thinking, I need to do something here to shift the energy. So the one thing that I would say for me, I start to notice, especially at home, when that it's time to space clear, and I'll go into the different ways that I space clear. And I really welcome all of you to share your thoughts with space clearing, with how you space clear and when you know it's time. And by the way, I will answer the psychic questions towards the end of the segment. Alrighty, so I see there's one there waiting in the queue. I got you covered. So when things feel off, when I'm at home, when I'm not sleeping well, at home and or I would even say here at the stores, when people are going at it with each other, right? A little bit of arguing, a little bit of testiness, when it feels really stagnant, when I notice that the phone's not ringing as much, or I don't have as many people coming through the door, when I notice I'm kind of dragging a little bit, right? So by the way, there's space clearing and there's personal clearing. And a lot of times when you're space clearing, you're also clearing yourself. So just know that too. So you don't need to do two different types of modalities or rituals or, oh, here goes my other light just popped on. They're saying that's right. You don't have to make it a huge, long process, because when you're clearing your space, you're also using that intention and the energy to clear the environment. And if you're in that environment, you receive the benefits as well. So the possible cause of these things could be stress, anxiety, fear, negative emotions, and just that wonkiness, right? So it usually isn't that somebody's sending it to you. It usually, which can affect us, but a lot of the times it starts with us. We may go to a store and then it's busy there. A bunch of people grumpy because they may be taking a long time at the register, and then it kind of gets a little wonky. And then what can happen is that it sticks to us. It sticks to our energy field. It becomes part of us because we are energetic beings and our aura expands, right? So then as we have this aura and we're mingling, interacting with other people, it's like some of that residue does stick to us. And I'm not creating, and my intention is not to create anxiety and paranoia. This is just part of life, and for us to be aware of when we feel off. And you know what? Sometimes it's outside influence that the people we're around, and we just kind of, it affects us through osmosis, right? That interaction of the auras, or it could be us. Could be us. I'm just feeling a little funky. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm allowing my triggers to be pushed. I'm tired. I'm not eating well. So on and so forth. I could be negative and grumpy, and it's growing, and I'm contributing that to my environment. And there are so many different reasons why and how it can happen, but this is where we go back to knowing ourselves and knowing and checking in and knowing when we're having a good day, a bad day, and just trying to go in there and shift it. It's like, I need to get a grip. Let me see here. I'm a little bit testy. I'm a little bit short with people. I feel a little bit of anger coming up. What the heck's going on? Are there things that I'm upset with? Am I feeling sick? Am I pushing it? Am I not creating boundaries? So on and so forth. Let me check in with myself. All right. This is me. This is me. I'm just being really grumpy today. So I'm going to try to do my best to clear myself, right? Meditation, prayer, sage, and then I know that I'm not adding to my environment in a positive manner. All right. How many times we have a bad day at work or stuck in traffic, and then we come home and it just continues to go on and on. Then we have influenced and shared our grumpiness and our testiness with other people, right? Uncool. So these are just some of the things to be mindful of, right? Is it off? Am I not sleeping? Do I have nightmares? What can I do to space clear? It's time to sage. It's time to get out my stuff and clear it. It's time for me to get out my prayers to shift energy. Okay, that's the number one thing, is to identify it. Is it time? Is it not time? So on and so forth. Would I be better off with a regular maintenance program with my clearing? Okay, just again, different things to think about. So as I mentioned, stress, anxiety, negative emotions, we bring it in, it can stick to us, and we help create it. All right, or it's a matter of just passing it on too. I mean, I've been guilty of doing that too. So what to do? So there are many different tools that you can use, and I would love to hear some of your comments here, either on the YouTube page, because I have opened the chat for you all, and or in the online community. So what tools do you have to space clear? And you know what? I'm always open. I'm always open to hearing what other people do, and I love to hear what people do to space clear. When I've done a lot of saging, and when I know that there's a lot that's kind of going on, a lot of change, right? When I am aware that there's a lot of change happening, and just so many different things like have happened, like there's a domino effect of just, oh, that's stressful. Oh no. Oh, problem solving here. And then I know when I really check in with myself and say, all right, is it time to call Sarah? So I have this friend, Sarah, spiritual, at the San Expedito Light Center. I'm typing it in. Let's see if I can copy and paste that to the Google Hangout here. All right, so I know when it's time to clear, just with all of those things that I mentioned. Then I call Sarah and I say, hey, Sarah, it's Laurie over at Fort Myers at the Moon. Can you help create a blend, whether it's a bath, a personal bath, and or a floor wash, and maybe a spray to shift some energy? And sometimes it is a good idea to have someone else do it for you. just because, right? Because it feels nice to receive a Reiki treatment, an energy treatment. I could read for myself, but sometimes I want a different perspective. And she is a master at creating these custom blends for you. And so what she does is then she just talks to me for a second. So what is it you want to achieve? And sometimes she actually creates blends for abundance, right? Because if I clear some of the energy by putting this wonderful floor wash, which by the way has been used for hundreds and hundreds of years in many different cultures. There are floor washes, and then there are personal baths. And I'll tell you what, sometimes those baths are a little stinky. And what I have started to do is when that box comes in, my husband says, oh boy. And he knows that he knows that it's the stinky bath type. And he says, oh, there it is. Well, the good news is that after a couple of days of the stinky bath, then comes a really great smelling bath. And it does shift the energy. So by bathing yourself, you're changing the vibration, you're cleansing negativity, stress, all of these things, right, that are heavy energy in your auric field. Same thing with your space, whether it's your storefront, your office, your home. And so then we usually, it's a day or two of clearing out energy, and then we bring in energy positive. So for space clearing, what you can do with a simple visualization is you could take your broom, right? After, say, you sage or whatever your usual ritual is, you can do that. And then you could take a broom and start at the furthest room or part of your home, office, home office, whatever space it is. And you're going to sweep out towards the door. You're going to sweep either energy or the dirt out the door. And it's the intention of getting it out. I'm getting all that stuff out, and it no longer serves, right? And then what I do is then I will either take my broom and or my mop, and I'm going to start at the front door, and I'm going to bring in good energy. And I add sweet smelling aromas and herbs, perfumes, and waters, right? Colognes and waters. And I bring the sweetness in. And it's just a natural process, right? It's like the tides. The tides come in, the tides go out. The cycles of life come in and they come out. And when things feel up, it's just a sign of things shifting and changing, okay? And it's a really lovely way of being proactive in your life. Being proactive in your life, okay? So I am going to take a look here at some of the things, the comments, the things that people are typing up here. So Chris says, I know after I feel sore with my arthritis, I have to clear the space with my sage because the space will feel blah if I don't. I agree. Kelly says, I not only clear my space, I clear out people too. I do an inventory every so often of the people I interact with and decide who to keep in touch with and who to release. I've had issues with boundaries in the past, so this helps me maintain sanity and peace. Absolutely. So it's the connections, the relationships, the interactions with people that can trigger us to be in a negative space and a positive space. Again, remember the interaction with the auric fields. If someone is really negative and they're picking at you and pointing out all your faults, and it's not a healthy relationship, then that's something to think about, right? Because we're creating bonds of negativity, and that affects our space as well as ourselves. And Karen says, I sage my home whenever I start to feel the energy become low. And light and incense, I feel guided towards afterwards to bring in that specific energy. Awesome. And incense is a great tool to use. I have that on in my notes too. So you can use sage to clear the energy, and there are many different types of sage. There's the white leaf sage. There's the blended sage that has the smaller leaves. Then there's sage with copal, sage with lavender. It all depends upon the energy that you're wanting to work with too. And so with the incense, I do the same thing. I might take a stick of Nag Champa or dragon's blood and kind of go around all the corners as I do my sage. And in the store, we give you a little card on the suggestions on how to sage. I might have it on the online store site on how to sage. And it's a good idea to start at the front door, open a window or door crack, and then go all around your space. It feels like I spoke about this last week. If I didn't speak about it last week, it might have been the week before. And so there's not just one way to sage, by the way. So I don't want anyone to get caught up in I'm doing it the wrong way. It's all about intention. It's all about working with spirit to ask, to request to clear the energy. Also, there's Palo Santo. There's Palo Santo that is holy wood, and you could use that in the same way as how you use your sage. Sometimes I'm drawn to light a sweetgrass braid. And so the sweetgrass represents bringing in the sweetness of life. It smells a little bit like vanilla. So I may sage and clear out the energy, and then with intention, I'm bringing in good energy. I'm bringing in positive energy. And they're showing me something here that I don't want for anybody to get confused, because when I mentioned with the mopping and the sweeping from the back of the space and getting it out, with the saging, we're starting at the front door. So it's like we're clearing the front door with the smoke, with the window or door open a crack. And we're kind of containing all that energy and bringing it out that way. And again, there's not just one way of doing it, okay? So see what feels right for you. See the difference, feel the difference. How does it look and feel afterwards, okay? There's a question from Andrea. She said, is it good to cleanse our pets as well? Absolutely. If your pets are in your home and you're clearing your home, they will receive the benefits. I would say to be careful with smoke with birds, and there are some animals that have sensitive little lungs, right, and breathing here. So be mindful of that. Also, there are sprays. There's the sage light, then there's sage spray, and that gets the job done as well. You could use sage, you could use lemon. That's a great alternative. So we have sage. Candles. You can work with candles. You can light a black candle to absorb the stress, negativity, and then light a white one. Actually, what I would do is I probably would light the white and the black at the same time. So you could use a little candle, you could use a jar candle. But if I want to absorb the negative energy, I probably would light my white one with the black one, just to balance out the energy already, to bring in the light, to help the light shift the energy as the intention is put into that candle. Okay, that black candle. And you can even write down on a piece of paper or write on your candle, please help me shift the energy and help absorb the lower, denser energy that does not serve. Whatever intention you want to work with that. You can have salt. That's salt. I think I put the salt down. You could use sea salt, black salt to create a continuous cleansing. You could put sea salt in a pretty dish by the front door. You could put it on your desk in your office. You can sage, cleanse, clear, and then put the sea salt or black salt at the thresholds of your doorways. That helps shift the energy as well. And speaking of salt too, some people put a little circle of salt around their bed, like a little tiny little salt trail there, and that ideally will help keep the bad dreams at bay. Okay, so many different things. And then you can also take salt and put like a little pinch of salt in a glass dish. You put water in that glass dish, take a pinch of salt, and you put that in there. Kosher, sea salt. You could use Epsom salt, Himalayan salt. Put that in there and put a tea light in there, 3 tea lights. I'm going back and forth between 2 or 3 tea lights. They're saying 2. Put 2 tea lights in there in the water with the salt, and put that in the center of the room and or space you're wanting to clear, and allow the tea lights to burn out. Then take that water and dump it out in the grass outside, and that's you giving it back to the earth. I'll get right to your question because I see the camphor. I'll go to it now. That's also in my notes. Camphor, we sell camphor blocks. This is a blue one. What it's used for is help shifting the energy. I think I might even have some camphor sticks of incense available too. But camphor is a great cleansing agent. You would get your glass dish, put some water in it, put the camphor block in there, and you could put it in the four corners of a room. You could put it in your space wherever you're doing any type of work, and it helps absorb energy, whatever doesn't serve you in that moment. And then when you see that it's getting kind of murky or a little bit cloudy, then it's time to take that and put that outside. The camphor, though, you want to be careful because it can be toxic to children and or animals. So be careful with that, okay? So you want, if you have children or pets, you want to put that water with camphor up high. All right. You can place crystals strategically around your space. At the front door, I usually have a black tourmaline. Sometimes I have a selenite slab or block with it to help. I put on top of the black tourmaline or the black obsidian, and that helps really shift the energy like a magnet when people come in. I put pyrite in the four corners. When I was at my first store, the Island Park store, the little store, I had neighbors, we shared a wall right here on the side of me, who they were not the best of neighbors. So there was a lot of partying that was going on. It was a little bit disturbing to me and my clients. So what I did is I took black tourmaline and I just placed it along the wall, on the bottom, on the floor, and the wall. And I just asked Spirit to help keep my space sacred and to deflect any negativity. I also took a mirror and I had it facing outward, right? So the shiny part facing outward, and that was just to deflect energy, just deflect it. I do not need that energetically coming into my space. So you can do that too. Say if there's a problem neighbor or whatever, you don't ask to harm them, you just ask to deflect energy away. I'm creating my own space in my own space here. I'm creating my own ambiance, and I'm requesting and setting the space to deflect any negativity and stress. Okay, so you can do that as well. You can work with Archangel Michael. You can use his prayer of protection and guidance and light to help keep you in that wonderful, loving, powerful energy. There is also, gosh, I don't know the name of it, but there is one where you work with Archangel Michael on the tube of light to clear negative energy and only keep the energy of your guides, your higher self, in with you. I don't have that resource right here, right now, but it's something you can look it up. It's I believe it's I invoke Archangel Michael with the 5th dimensional tube of light. That is the first part of it, so you can Google it. Even having a Saint Michael or Archangel Michael statue in your space helps. You can use a candle dedicated to Michael too. There's also the In Nomine Padre prayer that has been used in the church and with spiritual backgrounds, different spiritual backgrounds. That's a great way of cleansing energy. I've used that prayer when I've been driving, when I could feel the anxiety of the people around me. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of road rage going on, and or somebody's driving very aggressively. So I might recite that prayer to just keep my car and myself in a really good space. Then you can use sound vibration by clearing your space with bells, drums, whistles, chanting, Om, Om. That breaks up the energy in your room, home, car, space. And I did not mention this, but I most certainly would hope you would not go to any place without that is not your place without permission to clear a space. I have had people who have come into the store, just walked in off the street and said, I feel like I need to cleanse this place, and come in and do so. And I asked them to please do not do that. You do not have permission. So always make sure you have permission to shift the energy in anybody else's space. If I am working in as a guest, in, say in another store, in a room, I most certainly would speak with the person in charge and or the owner and ask if it's okay if I create my own little space here. And also asking, if you mind sage? Do you mind if I burn a sage? You know, always be sure if, say, if you're a guest in someone's home, almost certainly you need to ask before you space clear anything or create your own sacred space. Hotels, if you go to a hotel, I would most certainly, in my own room, create a little bit of sacred space. You may not be able to burn sage, but for that night, you're renting the space, and that's a little bit of a different story, because then there are a lot of different energies in there. So, you know, I'm not going to go crazy in a hotel, but I am going to maybe work with some crystals, maybe say some prayers, use some spray sage, and so on and so forth, just to create my own sacred space, and then I'm able to sleep and so on and so forth. That's a really great example, by the way, as a hotel. You can, another way of keeping your space clear or clearing your space, and another thing to do is to clear the clutter, declutter your stuff. Get rid of the stuff that's stacked up in the corner. We all know we are affected and influenced by the objects in a space. Most certainly, there's no way you're not. And sometimes we don't even realize how much we are influenced by it until we clean it up. And it's like, oh, it feels so good. I have so much energy. Oh, things are just, you know, moving along beautifully. So declutter as much as you can. That's part of space clearing, as well as your car. Why wouldn't you clear your car once in a while? I go in my car every once in a while, light that sage and clear it out. Most certainly, this is my vehicle, and I'm in there in my mind space, and I'm driving all over the place, and so I most certainly want it to feel really good. Also, it does affect my car's performance, my vehicle's performance. So why not love it, clear it, enjoy it, embrace it? Let's see what else we have. Feng Shui. If you know anything about Feng Shui, there are the different quadrants or quas in an area, right? So you have the money corner, relationship, health, and so on and so forth. It's a great way to clear your space by looking at the different Feng Shui cures. What objects do I put in what area, what colors, what shapes, and so on and so forth. That will affect the energy of your home. And there's a question, do electronics put off bad energy? They most certainly can. That's why we suggest working with a Himalayan salt lamp. Those are awesome. They help neutralize the electromagnetic smog. They balance out the ions in the air, and the energy shifts absolutely. There can be too many electronics in your space, and that does kind of interfere with some of the energy in the room. You can also write affirmations and leave them all around your space. So go for it. You got this. I love you. That will change the energy of your space as well. You can write something on the mirror, you know, Post-its. That is a great way of shifting that energy. Putting a positive affirmation under your welcome mat. Putting a wonderful prayer under your bed. Like, that is going to help shift the energy. Say if you have a child or children that they're having nightmares, writing a wonderful prayer of love and guidance and invoking the angelic realm or whomever for a peaceful night's sleep. That's another way of shifting that energy too. Let's see, you can also add live plants to your home. If you have a green thumb, that gets the chi, the energy moving. That works as well. Water fountains, there are different places to put water fountains. I believe by the front door, that's going to help keep that flow going as well. Cleansing showers, even when you're clearing yourself, when you're taking that shower to help shift you and the energy of your space, because you're in your space, seeing that the water purify and just kind of washing away stress, worry, doubt, fear, anxiety, seeing it go down the drain. You can call in Ganesh, G-A-N-S-E-H, to help remove the obstacles that are preventing the space from feeling good. And the challenges that are in your life. I have the camphor I already talked about, water with the tea lights, and these are just a few of the things that you can do. And again, as I mentioned, you can have a regular routine once a month on a Thursday, or you can do this weekly or as is needed. A lot of times people come in, they buy sage, and they ask, when should I sage? And I say, I tell them, well, you'll know. If it's, first of all, if this is the first time you're saging, I'm going to encourage maybe every other day or so. Then when you notice a shift in the energy, then you could space it out a little bit more so, or just pay attention to how you feel in your home, you know, and your environment. As I mentioned, are people fighting? Are people stressed? Is it tense? Is it like thick pea soup when you walk through the door? You know, have you been challenged at work? Then it might be a good idea to clear your space a little bit. Okay. All right. So I hope that information helped you here with space clearing, how, when, what, where, why. And I would love to hear some of your feedback, whether on the YouTube page or in the online community here. Just feel free to post your comments next week or in between. And I'd love to see all of you in those groups as well, talking about the different things, because you have, I'm looking at the people here who are in the online community. There is so much information that all of you can share with one another. All of you have experience and have been delving into the metaphysics for a very long time. So I think that it would be a really awesome thing for all of you to share your knowledge and wisdom with each other. That's what community is about. And I just confirmed another person here for the online community. I just granted Phoenix access, so Phoenix might pop up in a second. All right, so again, in the Google Hangout, feel free to type in your question in the group chat area. So I'm going to answer a few second questions. So I'm going to go up here. And Andrea has a question. What month is best for my fiance and I to marry? And will it be just a joke, or will we be able to have a small gathering? My question is, are you talking about for this year? Alrighty, so let's see. So I'm just going to ask July, August, September, October, November. They're showing me around the time of November would be best, because because I have the right, excuse me, I'm backing up here. Stay in the zone. The King of Wands is the card that I selected. And what I did is I select cards until I have a right side up one that has a really good yes, a solid yes. So I had a reversed, reversed, reversed. And then I did have the Knight of Swords, which was October. And this card, let me see if I can see the picture here. This card is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is kind of a little bit defensive in that way. And it may be a little bit touchy and there might be a little bit of anxiety and stress around it. So I'm going to say November would probably be the best time. So will you be able to have a small gathering? I have a yes. So here we have the Five of Swords, the Ace of Wands reversed, and then the Nine of Pentacles. And what I really like about the Nine of Pentacles is that she's very happy with how things come together. I'm going to stress small gathering, okay? Nothing too crazy. And I think you also had asked about a Justice of the Peace. I don't know. Were you thinking about somebody else? You know, I have a no with the Justice of the Peace. So there are wonderful people that I know of who do ceremonies, marriage ceremonies, and they'll do it at the beach, and you can do that. You could go that route. But so far it looks like November, and yes, a small gathering. All right, moving forward. So Mia has a question. Mia's question is my current boyfriend my soulmate, or does he have ulterior motives, and should I stay in the relationship or get out? So I'm going to pull 3 cards first. Well, you know, there is a really awesome connection with him, and with soulmates, they are not always a happy and harmonious relationship. Soulmates can challenge us, and they can bring us to the edge of almost like having chaos in our life. So yes, he's a soulmate. However, I don't know if it's very healthy for you. So the answer about the soulmate is a yes. And I did want to point out something to you here. This 3 of Pentacles is reversed. And when it's right side up, this is my marriage card. So when I see this reversed, it's telling me that there are things that are missing, and that the commitment that you're hoping for, or you were hoping would happen, may not happen. Should you move on? I don't see you moving on yet. I do think in the future you may. I keep seeing a back and forth between the two of you. And so I asked, should she move on now? I don't have that yet because I don't think you're ready to. And I don't think he's ready to. I asked the question, so what about like the next 7 to 8 months? And this is what I selected for you quickly. I have Judgment, the Emperor, and then I have the Ace of Pentacles. So I'm going to tell you this. I do think that within the next 7 to 8, maybe even 9 months, I think that you may move on. I'm feeling like there's a shift within you because I saw that that Emperor, and the Emperor is about confidence and knowing yourself. And it's when you're ready to make a serious change in your life and follow through. It's like either you're with me or you're not. I'm going in this direction, and if you're not able to, if we're not on the same wavelength, then we might have to part ways. So I do believe the relationship is purposeful. Always when I look at the information, right, the cards, and then blend it with my intuition, that it's based upon what's going on right now. I mean, there could be a complete shift in the relationship, but I'm feeling that right now the two of you have so much, like it feels really entangled. There are a lot of emotions and we're still trying to sort through this. It's purposeful for the two of you to still be together, whether it's to learn about boundaries or whatever. Okay? So I hope that helped you a little bit. All right. Okay, next question is from Lady Christina. Do you see me having my own business, and how long from now? I am hearing yes with the business. So I hear yes right off the bat. Yes, that's so funny. This is a strong yes. And I heard where things really fall into place and you're going, as I heard 13 months. So a year and a month. So the cards that I selected for you are awesome cards. You have the Sun. There's not much better happy card. The Sun, yes. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Go with the flow. And then you have the Knight of Cups. So whenever there's a major arcana, it is like a milestone in our lives. It's like, hey, pay attention, because this is a karmic thing that is a big deal. So you have two of them. It has to do with the business. And then when you add your Knight of Cups, it's a passion of yours. So yes, yes, yes. I'm going to say as of right now, 13 months. And you're going, you know that you're going to love what you're doing. Okay? All right. Then the next question is from Karen, and I am going to have to wrap it up soon. Anything my spirit guides would like me to know, please and thank you. Alrighty, let's see. Your spirit guides. They're showing me that at this time they're helping you cleanse and shift the memories and the stories from your past. They're helping you move away from that. And this is so interesting how the cards come together. So they're taking your memories, the ones that maybe were a little bit limiting and challenging and holding you in place for moving forward, are the Six of Cups, which is about nostalgia, memories. The Six of Pentacles, which is about karma. And what you give is what you get, and so on and so forth, karma. And then you have the Six of Swords, which is about moving forward. Behind her, she has receipts. Ahead, she has peace, and the swords are the mind. So there's peace of mind. There's contentment. So what they're doing is helping you look at your past in a different light, changing those stories, tightening them up, cut the ties and letting them go, and then moving forward. And I keep hearing maybe like a mantra, but that was the past. That was the past. That is not now. All right, so that's what they're sharing with us. All right, and Heather, you're welcome. And one more question here. You're noticing that your guide is trying to get a message across, but you haven't figured it out. Well, I'll just pull 3 quick cards. It has to do with staying in place or staying in, like it's resisting change is what they're showing me. The change is trying to happen and you may not, you may be trying to analyze it, or here's that story thing again, you're afraid to change the story. So we have the Knight, excuse me, not the Knight, the 8 of Swords reversed, which has to do with letting go of self-beliefs and limitations. The Queen of Pentacles, which is that there are certain situations that are not serving you right now. So, but you're still kind of holding on to them. And then you have the 8 of Wands, which is about things happening very quickly. They're saying, allow us to help move you forward, drop the past, let it be, and you're going to notice how things really move very quickly. All right, and Andrea says, thank you. And Christina says, you know what it is. All right. I see Phoenix joined us. Thank you for joining us, Phoenix. I'm going to be ending the segment in a little bit. You can watch the Empower Hour over and over and over again after it's through. So let's see what we have. This is interesting. First of all, they're saying it has to do with an individual business project where I don't know if you're wanting to partner up with someone, and they're saying no. And I actually said that there are 2 choices, that there are 2 different directions that you can move into, and there are 2 things that you have played with before. I kept hearing it was creativity, and then they told me it also has to do with helping people with self-esteem and empowering people, and I'm not sure what you're going to do with that. It has to do with that warm, fuzzy, good feeling. However, you can be abundant with it. All right, so I did want to show you this quickly. So the 2 of Cups reversed, which to me says, not today. I was thinking of the card of the day. Today's the Lovers, but on the Facebook page. The 2 of Cups, which is saying it's an individual thing. You don't go out and try to partner with a bunch of people. The 2 of Wands, it's just between 2 things here. And then the 3rd one is the Empress reversed. So to me, it's something that you've already kind of dabbled and played with, but not sure how you're going to pull it together as a business. Okay. Well, I thank all of you for tuning in, and it's always a pleasure to connect with all of you. Darn, if I don't remember what I put as next week's topic. I did put it on the Facebook page, but I look forward to seeing all of you. Please, please, please get in on those groups, chat, share. Someone wrote one of their dreams in there recently, and so on and so forth. Go mingle and have fun. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week and take care. Namaste. And all of you on the YouTube page, thank you for tuning in. Feel free to comment next time in the chat. Namaste.